You could attend. Step inside.
Ready on the right?
Step inside.
I am, as long as Deb.
All right. Deb, you good? All right. Good evening. Welcome you to tonight's Morgan County Board of Commissioners meeting for May 20th. We'll begin with the pledge. If we have a veteran, I'd like for them to lead. Do we have a veteran? You look like a veteran. Would you lead our pledge, please?
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For our prayer this evening, I'd like it to be a silent prayer, and I'd like for you to remember, first of all, that Memorial Day is coming up, and that's one thing we can consider. And I'd like for you also to consider that this is Mental Health Month, and we have a lot of people suffering from mental health, especially out in our jails. So let's have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Our first order of business and the new business is, they were supposed to recognize sometimes a quorum, but that's, I see that's here. First order is going to be our clerk's report. You have it in front of you. I think all we need to do is recognize that we've received it. I don't think we have to approve it. We just received
We
it.
just make a motion that we
Acknowledge it.
acknowledge the clerk's report as presented, and I make that motion.
Second.
It's been acknowledged, seconded. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Next item on the business is a grant application from EMA. I think there's actually two. Is that correct?
No, one's EMA, one's EMS.
I have two for EMA.
Oh, it is. I'm sorry.
I-
She does have two.
Yes, we usually do. We usually skip the second.
Hey, good evening. One of them is a new grant application. One of them is an amendment to a grant application that we had submitted prior. That amendment is just, we came in about $10,000 over what we had requested when we did the initial grant application. This was for the window mitigation grant in partnership with the different school districts here in the county. When we got quoted for the window film, we were told it was $21 per square foot. What they did not mention initially was a $4 per linear foot additional fee. So that is where we ended up coming over. However, we will still be able to match our 25% as a county through in-kind. So it doesn't cost anything else to the county. We just wanted to make sure that we pass that information along and got the grant approval updated to reflect the additional $10,000.
Thank you, Abby.
No problem.
Do we have any questions? Well, first of all, do we have a motion on these grants?
I can explain the second as well. I just didn't know if we needed to do
Pardon?
it in. So I can explain the second grant as well. I just didn't know if we needed to do it in two phases or just explain both grants at the same time, whatever you prefer.
I'm sorry, I didn't really catch that.
Yeah, so we have an additional grant application for a new grant. I didn't know if you wanted me to present that now or,
One at a time or both
Yep.
under the same motion?
Yeah, well, that's, the question is, I guess, to you, do you want both of them at the same time, or do you want them both differently, separately?
whichever is needed, whatever would be better for you.
Let's just do them both at the, well, it's probably appropriate to do them separately. We have one grant for $223,086.24. And this is a misquote, it said, from a film vendor, so the project increased a little bit. So Let's go ahead and take care of that grant first.
Okay.
Do we have a motion on that grant?
Kenny Hill makes a motion, we approve the amendment to the original approved grant, 2024 HMGP 4707 in the amount of $223,086.24.
Second.
Any questions from us or the audience? All right, all in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the motion passes 3-0. By the way, we have some guests here this evening, and EMA is the people that take care when we have a big tornado or we have an emergency occur. Her department jumps into action, but they always plan on something going wrong. So that's a blessing to have, and they sit around and they're active very all the time, trying to make sure we're safe when we have the emergencies come. And we appreciate that. The second grant is for $150,000, and it's for multi-agency disaster drills and so forth.
Yep, so this is for an evacuation software. It's through a company called Ladris, and basically it's an online software that EMA would be able to leverage for both planning and training and exercise to forecast what it would look like to evacuate from certain areas in the county, as well as like what the exposure risks of that would be for the people as they're evacuating, so that we can follow up on the long-term health impacts, as well as utilizing the software to plan some initial evacuation plans for certain areas or for the specific larger areas in the county, so that we have some evacuation plans in place to work off of should we ever need to run an evacuation.
I have one question, and I hate acronyms. And I see there's a CEMP, and I have no idea what that is.
Yep, so that is the County Emergency Management Plan. So it's something that we do every 3 years.
Management plan, okay.
Yep.
Got it.
And we bring it up to, we renew it every 3 years with the stakeholders and partners
I
involved.
don't know why, I don't know what it is. Management, it's kind of a puzzle. I'm always trying to figure out what does that stand for.
Yeah, so it's the, collectively as a county, all of the public safety agencies and then like private stakeholders come together and create some just large emergency response plans for potential incidents for threats and hazards.
Thank you.
Of course.
Do we have a motion on this particular grant?
It's a motion that we accept the proposal to go out and seek a grant for a total of $150,000.
Second.
Yeah, it's been moved and seconded. Any questions further? All in favor say aye.
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 Do you think you'll be able to overlap some of the stuff that we discussed on the eclipse?
That's the hope.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's basically, when I was reading this, and we didn't have to because we didn't have the numbers, but at least I'm
Yeah,
proud to
no,
say we were prepared.
Yeah, we'll be able to plug in if there was an incident in any specific location in real time in the EOC. We can plug that location in and come up with all those plans.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Abby.
Thank you. I lost my agenda here.
Well, I guess we're done. Here,
There it is.
and then
What you got?
flip that back.
Oh, yeah, we need to hit that one right off the bat. We had an executive session previous to this meeting, and we took a legal action, and we'll entertain a motion now on that legal action.
Just as a correction, we had an executive session to receive advice from counsel on privileged information related to a recommended course of litigation.
So
Isn't that clear, Keith?
we want to authorize that legal action, that's correct, Ann?
Correct, you're up. You, I'm asking for a vote of the commissioners to move forward with legal action.
Motion,
I'll make the motion that we take the legal recommendation to pursue the proper action as discussed in executive session.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Thank you for pointing that out. I had missed that completely. We have, next, insurance renewal. Josh, you want to help us out here?
Mostly good, except for
Can you see it?
Just barely. Good evening,
Good
gentlemen.
evening.
So, real quick, I'll give you a summary. So for those of people here who may not know our process, we have Travelers Insurance that we've used for the last few years. We'd switched from Liberty Mutual. We put that out to full bid, not annually, because it's such a big undertaking and it doesn't work to our advantage to do that year in and year out, but we do put it out to bid every few years. We just switched back to Travelers in 2023. Went out, we asked for updated pricing from them each year. I was pleasantly surprised with the numbers we got. There was an increase. The biggest increase was in auto. And if you look at the actual losses that we sustained, it was a dollar for dollar increase from our increased losses this year over last year. Other than that, it fairly well held constant. I mean, there were some increases, but fairly minor in comparison. In talking with Mr. McConnell, we do have reason for concern. The market seems to be consolidating. A handful of players seem to be exiting the municipal market, making it hard. I know the city was not able to even renew. They couldn't even quote with Liberty, who we had previously wrote with and they wrote with last year. So I would say that there are some ominous clouds on the horizon. But for this year, we got off fairly light with the exception of auto. And like I said, those were for true losses. I think there was one other thing I was going to add about that. Oh, the other big thing that we were able to get past this year, and I'm glad for that, a lot of big municipal clients were seeing large increases, and I was hearing deductibles going up to $250,000. They did not touch our deductible. It's the same it's been. We're still at $50,000, so that's another good thing for us. So this year, we recommend the renewal of Travelers. I'm pretty confident in it. Next year, hopefully, we'll be as lucky.
Do they do individual policies? Because due to the tornado years, mine only went up 43%.
Yeah, we're
You just
experiencing that.
lose your good discount rate. What's the difference? I'm still paying 43% more.
Right.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
On the autos, will they help design some type of mitigation, or are they in a position, or how do we mitigate that? Do we
That is
have our own defensive driving course, or?
Yeah, that's a great question, something that we need to work
If
through.
we have, I think we need to entertain a policy of, strike one, strike two, strike three, and then you don't get to drive a county vehicle.
Yeah.
So, how do other counties handle that? I think we need to explore
Yeah, I
that. If
think
there's
it's a
going to
great
be a
idea.
direct correlation with what we're paying more in premium based upon the claims from the auto side, then we need to regulate,
Yeah,
make sure we have safe drivers behind the wheel of any county vehicle.
yeah. And it's a real concern. I was talking, this is a few years ago with Hendricks County, and they almost lost the ability to be covered because they were having so many accidents there for a while. So I agree. We need to figure out how to get our hands around this.
Okay.
Yeah, Kenny?
But I think, commissioners, just food for thought. Anybody against that?
Not at all.
Kenny?
I was ready to make a motion, but legal counsel advised me not to. So.
Pay attention, that's why we have her next to you,
Oh, I
Kenny.
know, I'm listening.
All right, I will entertain a motion.
Kenny,
Right.
I'll make, go ahead, Brian.
I was just going to say, I make the recommendation that we accept the insurance renewal proposal as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we accept this as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes, I think, 3-0. Thank you. And thanks, Steve. I know
Yeah, I
he's
was gonna say,
worked real hard on this.
I did mean to add, but I failed to. the initial quote they came back to us was higher, and Steve went and talked to them, and they did bring it down $40,000, so that was at least a step in the right direction.
Yeah, thank you, and thank him. It's good to work with. Okay. Next item is a contract with GAI Consultants. It's been revised recently, so Justin Schneck from our county engineer will
Yeah.
explain it.
Yep. Good evening, everyone. So as you're aware, we had this emergency shutdown of a small structure on Leonard Road in January of this year. We've been working, we selected from a pool of proposals. GAI won that selection, so they've presented us with a scope and fee along with their contracts for the design of the new structure and to obtain the right-of-way to build that structure in the new roadway. We had a revised contract with general terms and conditions, just made some changes today, so I've got that before you. I've reviewed it, and I believe our attorney, Ms. Cowgers, also reviewed it and found it to be acceptable. So I'm up here to see if you guys have any questions regarding that, or, and then looking for approval to move forward with design.
Not only did I find it acceptable, but I had an opportunity to make the only couple of little tweaks and changes, and they accepted them, so it's been reviewed and edited.
Without a long dissertation on everything, could you explain to the public what bridge this is? What road it's on?
It's on Leonard Road, just west of Lynn Boyle Road. Yep.
And can you explain to the public why bridges like this can take up to 2 years to do?
Yeah, so the existing structure has a 14-foot span, so that's more involved than just placing a pipe in the ground. You know, we have to look at hydraulic analysis to make sure that adjacent property owners don't get flooded out during a big rain event. So we need to take the proper precautions and get these properly designed to ensure the safety of, property owners and the traveling public.
So if I take my excavator out there and I have a mini excavator and I have a Bobcat skid steer and I decide to dig that up and put it in myself, what could be the possible consequences?
Someone gets flooded out, and then, we're liable for insurance losses, and, it could even result in loss of life if you screwed it up enough. So,
And that's
yeah.
why we're doing it by the letter of the law
Yep.
and the proper channels.
Yep,
Thank you.
thank you.
Though I would like to take my skid steer out there and do that, I just won't.
That'd be fun.
Have a ball.
That's right. I'll make the motion that we accept the new revised GIA contract, small structure 1251.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we accept the small structure 1251. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0, and thank you
Thank you.
for your rework and the rewording of tweaking here and there. Okay, next item on our business, in new business, is a water project progression from Intera. Josh, County Administrator, will explain it.
So we are in our second year of our water study currently. As you all may remember, it took us a while. We had to get sensors outfitted throughout the county. We've started collecting that data. Intera has been helping us build out a dashboard portal so we can start to interpret those results. We've been discussing the need to engage with the state legislature as we get a handle. We're one of only 2 counties right now that utilized the opportunity in ARPA funds to get a gauge for the water resources we have and to start to quantify those and make sure that we have an understanding of what we can use, how we can utilize our resources. So what I've got before you this evening is a contract from Intera to continue this project over the next 3 years. We would still use ARPA funds to do so. It's $305,000 annually. That is to upkeep all of our well network, to interpret the results, take care of maintenance, and to continue pumping all that information into the portal for decision-making. And so I do have Jack here from Intera, Jack Whitman. He's our main contact and the water scientist we've been working with. So he's on hand to answer questions you all have. But I think this is an important step for us to continue the ability to make good decisions for our water, because right now, nobody's had that information. And like I said, we're one of only 2 that actually have this information right now.
Good evening.
Hello, sir.
Hello. Yes, a lot of the story that's behind this is really about the ability to interpret what we are seeing with this new data. We're collecting data that's never been collected before here, and at a density that's never been attempted. So we're really looking forward and trying to look at all of the different ways that this can provide more useful information to decision makers that are trying to look at growth and change in the county and how this water piece fits in to basically prevent the chaos that we've seen in other parts of the state. And that's the only way that it seems to me that this ever works, is if people locally know what they have, basically. What is there? Where should water supplies be developed and where shouldn't they be? To try to really, provide the most value for the community. And the details, I can explain all of the particular parts that are inside of the document that you're looking at, if you have questions.
When this project first started, I thought it sounded good. I didn't realize how good and how needed. I have, I suppose, as much as anything, concerns that what we have in this county is a great resource that we need to be able to protect. And that's the bottom line to me, is protect what we have. And we can't do that unless we have data. We can't say, well, we're going to protect what we don't know what it is. I don't know who's firing off here, but it's kind of cool. dive. But that brings up water again, I suppose. But thank you for the work that Intera is doing for us and the thoroughness of it all. And the information will be valuable for the generations. And especially, I think we're on the, I won't say the spear point, but we're certainly on the leading edge of that kind of legislation that's going to have to happen as we proceed down the line to make sure that that it's handled fairly and properly without any, I suppose, hiccups that can come from somebody else taking advantage of vacancies of knowledge. With no data, they'll just make assumptions. And what you're giving us is the I guess you say the proof of what we're experiencing. And that's important.
I think too that just to echo some of what you just said back, but what's new is that local government having this information doesn't have to wait or listen for or wait for the federal or the state government to say what the deal is with water in your county.
Right.
And I think that is crucial. To me, it's as important as knowing the topography of the landscape or the soils or any other thing that could be important to development. Actually, it's more important than all those, because none of those can be used without water. So I think that this is a really important step for the county, and you are leading, in fact, for especially in counties that have a lot of water. You're in a really
It's
great
one of our finest resources. We're rich in natural resources. Beauty, for sure, but we certainly are rich in in one of the finest aquifers in the state, I expect. So we want to protect it.
That's true. That's true. And what we're trying to make is that create a tool that can provide useful information too. It's not theoretical and it's not a fancy science project. It's actually important information that people can use to see how water availability changes, where in the county, and how can the county make decisions about how to develop with that information.
Well, we certainly appreciate the progress you've made and the way it's accomplished. I don't think there's any motion, but there might be questions from the board. Do you have any, gentlemen or ladies, have any questions for Jack here about the project?
I'd just like to go on record as stating that I take great pride and I'm very honored to be on here when a doctor states that Morgan County is leading on a positive study, on a positive note, something that's going to affect generations for many, many moons to come. So thank you for assisting us with this. And anybody's got any questions, I'll be more than happy to discuss what we're doing to protect the generations that are way out in front of us, because you're not going to have any type of economic stability or growth if you can't drink any water.
Well, thank you also. I think it's a testament to the vision that you have, as well as the idea of this question of water. It's really, it takes something else to lead and to look at that carefully. So I think that you're in the right spot right now for this, for the future. So, yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jack.
Josh? When will we be looking at getting into an agreement on, like, level 2, or however you want to? Or is this already, or the first study to the second, the continuation study, when will that contract need to be signed?
Yeah, if you guys want to make a motion on this, to move forward, then I'll have Jack get the contract like we did the first time.
Then I'll make the motion that we proceed with pursuing the possibility of the next contract.
I'll second that motion.
Made a motion to continue and work together for the continuation of this project. Thank you. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. You got your charge. Thank you. Next item, I keep losing my agenda. I don't know why. I keep covering it up and then. Keep doing it.
He didn't say that on the dashboard to actually.
Jeez. Thank you,
I
Linda.
don't think we did. I was gonna ask.
Yeah, you want to sit, well, no, I got it. Linda just
I'll just
pointed
keep
it
this
out.
extra one.
I need to just leave it sit there and not touch it. Okay.
Oh, then let me keep it.
Next order of new business is a trespass order. It's an ordinance involving trespass in one of our buildings that we need to address.
One correction, Mr. President, it's a resolution.
Resolution.
Yes,
Yes, it is. Is it a resolution?
it is a
Therefore,
resolution.
we will,
Therefore, we can. Yes,
All right.
and don't start singing, Mr. Collins.
no, I shan't.
In terms of the resolution, this is an item where we just needed to update. This resolution has been in existence since February of 2018, and it banned a particular individual from contact with Morgan County office holders and staff, and barred this individual particularly from this building at 180 South Main Street, the Morgan County Administrative Building. The problem is that we now house some county offices that have been affected by the same individual in the courthouse. And so we're proposing an amendment to the existing resolution to expand the bar from entry to include not only the Morgan County Administrative Building here, as well as the Morgan County Judicial Campus to be at this same address, and entry from the Morgan County Courthouse located at 10 East Washington Street unless this individual's entry is for specific purposes of official court business. This is, again, just to expand the geographic scope of the existing resolution from 2018. And I can assure you that based on the information that I have, this person continues to be a threat, and poses a threat, and therefore, that's why we're expanding and continuing the no trespass order.
Brian Collier makes a motion that we adopt resolution number 2024-5-20, a resolution of the County Commissioners of Morgan County, Indiana, ordering a no trespass.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0, and thank you for the update on the resolution. Continuing, we have an ambulance purchase from EMS. Oh, that means emergency management service. They save our lives.
Medical services,
I mean,
yes.
emergency medical service. Yeah, that's the only agency in our county that really saves lives.
Yes.
The others protect us, but you save them. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Good evening. About a year ago, we took a deep dive in EMS, and part of that was looking at the apparatus maintenance and replacement to sustain the operation long-term. Currently, we have 8 units that are in service. We have one unit that was sent off for remount late last year that you all approved to be remounted prior to me getting into the EMS agency. It's still being remounted. It's getting close to being delivered, but we don't quite have it yet. We have 5 ambulances that are 2017, 4 of which are over 120,000 miles. One is a mini mod. It's a RP90 that's 80,000 miles. And then we have 3 newer units, a 2019 and 2 2021s, all around 50,000 miles plus or minus 4,000 miles. Last year, we went to the council and we asked for $350,000 to purchase a new ambulance to help build out replacement of some of this apparatus in the future. They approved that, and we started negotiations with Horton. We talked with Braun, and we thought that the $350,000 was going to be a good mark for that new ambulance. They came in December of around $356,000 for that unit. Since there, they quoted it out based on our specifications in May of $374,000. I made contact with the agent, or the sales rep, to discuss the difference between that, which was about almost $18,000. And during those negotiations, he'd contacted Horton. They had four orders canceled, and one unit became available at $331,000 that would be delivered mid-October of this year. So we get a similar unit. We can't make changes to this unit, but it is very similar. We've reviewed the specifications and the drawings of the unit. It'll certainly do what we need it to do. It's a Horton ambulance, so it can be remounted several times, not like the medics boxes that we have. So I think it's a great deal for the price, and the delivery is even better. So we have appropriated $376,100 in 1138 for this purchase already. So part of that money will be probably encumbered for next year for another purchase, or be moved to professional services to allow for decaling for this unit and the other unit. So I'm just asking for you to approve the request and deposit for this unit. It's already in production. It's just going to slate the unit for us and have it set for delivery in October.
And this is already in the budget, and
Yes.
you just need our blessings to accept the
I'd like your blessings, yes.
I'll make that in the form of a motion, Mr. Chairman.
We've had a motion made to accept the bid presented. I would, I'll take a second.
Second.
Take a second, and all in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
And I would like to thank you for saving about $40,000 there on that deal. But I think even more important, not important, I think people don't realize every time we see one that we call them buses, or you call them buses, going down the road, that's $250,000.
Yes.
I mean, that's a pile of money. And how many do we have?
We have 8 in service, we've got 9, including the remount.
So that's $3 million worth of ambulances, roughly.
Yeah, the ones we bought weren't quite that expensive, and that's why they can't be remounted as well or as many
Yeah.
times, so.
Well, that's the price we pay to serve the public. And
Yes,
it's
sir.
their money, and we'll hopefully as frugal and as useful as you can do it. And I appreciate the service.
Thank
I
you.
just don't want you to use it on me.
Yes.
Deal?
Well, for the good of the county, a little early, I was, for those of you who don't know, I'm a full-time fireman. And last night I had to go on a medical call, and without breaking HIPAA, it was a heart-wrenching call of a young lady in a horrible state of mind. Having 3 kids and being very blessed, my kids, I'm the goofy one up here, and I would hate to think of the state of mind that this young lady was in, but I was so grateful to the professionalism of your crew and the ladies that were working that crew, because it was obvious that young lady sure didn't want to talk to some guy, didn't want to talk to the police officers. And so later in private, where I can tell you, since I was there and you're in charge of them, we can get in more detail. But for the public to know and for you to know, you handled it very, very professionally, and a word that doesn't always go with our profession, very lovingly. So I wanted to publicly thank you, and I want to be sure that Commissioner Kyer will be thanking that crew.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Thank you. Commissioner Collier, appreciate those remarks. We have, I put it up here in the new business, the Sycamore Service contract. This contract, well, go ahead and you can explain it, and then we'll talk about how it came to be.
I have a working relationship with Sycamore Services, and they phoned me late last week. I was able to return the phone call on Friday. They called on Thursday. They provide a Morgan County Connect, a transit for our community, and we piggyback with Hendricks County. And we've always been kind of like the little sibling to Hendricks County. Sycamore's based out of, their main office is up in Hendricks County, and they called and they had submitted the same grant that they have done for years and years and years, and they always have the Hendricks County Commissioner sign off on it. NDOT sent it back to them and said that since Morgan County's reaping part of the benefits, they needed a representative from this board, which is usually the chairman of the commissioners, to acknowledge and sign off on this contract. This enables us to continue to provide some transportation to those in this county that aren't able to provide their own transportation. So they sent me this contract, and I present it to this board this evening.
Do we have any questions on this contract? I'll entertain a motion.
Kenny Hill makes a motion, we go ahead and approve the contract for Sycamore Services, for services rendered for this coming year.
And I'll second. Yeah, I think we didn't vote on one thing. We need to in a second. Is that the Sycamore Services?
Well, they're saying that it's a form, an authorizing resolution, which would be Resolution 5-21? 20B, okay.
Okay, all right, so we need to approve this resolution.
We need to approve this request as a resolution.
Okay, I got you.
Which makes sense. 520
Is
May
that-
20th, and this is the second one of the night, B as in.
Everybody cool on that down there?
By 2022B. Is that what you're saying?
2024-5-20B. That'll be the official approval to work with Hendricks County, sign them.
Kenny Hill makes a motion on the resolution authorizing for the resolution 2024-5-20B.
Correct.
Okay.
I'll second.
In favor of the motion, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. I want to return to one other question that Commissioner Hale has pointed out, that I'm not sure, I had a motion in a second on the ambulance purchase, but I'm not sure we voted on it. Do you have we did or didn't?
Oh, we
Okay.
didn't?
Okay, well, just make sure. I didn't want
This,
to,
for clarifications, do you want to call
Okay.
for? Or do
If you
think
guys
we-
have a vote recorded, then there was a vote. I was
Yeah.
just curious because, Commissioner Collier started talking about what he wanted to talk about, and then it was just,
Just got off track?
well, let's do it for the record, okay?
My wife says I do that quite often.
All in favor of the motion to purchase the ambulance, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Now, we got her for sure. Okay, we have in old business we've tabled it before. It looks like we should continue that. We have the CenterPoint lease easement, was tabled last time, and it looks like we should do that again.
Kenny Hill makes a motion, we table CenterPoint lease easement agreement.
I'll second.
And motion made and seconded to table the CenterPoint lease agreement till the next meeting. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes 3-0. In other business, we have, I'm sorry, question?
Sycamore Services, there's an agreement, and we have the motion. Kenny made the motion, you seconded, and then we skipped over, we didn't vote, we skipped over to the resolution.
I thought that, I was assuming that was the same thing, sorry. So we need a motion for the agreement and the resolution both?
No vote, but the motion and second got approved, yeah. You just need to call for the vote on that one, Don.
All in favor, say aye.
All in favor, say aye on the motion.
Aye.
All right, is that got us covered down there? Got it. All right, we have the land acquisition that we're looking at up for our recycling area, and we need to sign an authority. I, as your chairman this year, will be glad to be that if you'd like and be convenient. Does that work with you, Josh, as far as having a signature on that? Does it work with you guys?
For you to sign?
Yes, sir. You want to make a motion?
Checkbook's bigger than mine.
I'll take we should do that with a motion.
I'll make the motion that we authorize Chairman Adams to sign for the land acquisition.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Next, and they've been very patiently waiting, some folks are looking for the use of our courthouse square from Rams Ride, is that the name of it?
Yeah,
You may
please approach.
it. Please come. You ride right up.
Yeah, I do. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for having us. So I'm not sure how deep in the weeds we need to get. We've done this before with the previous commissioner, it was 2011, I believe, but essentially what we're looking to propose is we have a motorcycle charity event that is a ride, and we'd like to use the city of Martinsville Town Square as a stop. And in doing so, that will allow our participants, which we approximate to be about 200 to 250 people, to patronize the businesses in and around the square area for approximately 60 minutes, 60 to 90 minutes. So our request, and again, we're a 501c3 with a federal ID number, so 100% of our proceeds go to multiple sclerosis research. So the request is that we are able to close and privatize the inner circle, or the inner square, if you will, on August the 3rd, 2024, approximately from 11:30 to 1:30 p.m. The only addition to that would be potential assistance from the Department of Public Works if they could barricade it or provide barricades for that time period as well.
That guy sitting behind you is your barricader.
Oh, barricader.
So as far as they're concerned, if they're available, if they could be set out even the night before, we have volunteers that could be there, that could actually put them in place time of, if that helps.
All right.
Have we had any problems since we now have living units on the square? And I know that a lot of the people that are living in the apartments are parking on the inner circle, especially on the north side of the square. I don't know if we get them out of there by... I've seen cars there at all hours because of my other job. We really haven't
We,
never really enforced. And my only point of it is if you were going to get everybody off there, we'd have to put notification up that,
yeah, the last time me and Frank did it for the city of Martinsville, I worked with Frank and we did that ourselves. And we had to have about 9 cars removed that day. And we got with them and was able to get them moved without having to tow any, but it makes it a whole lot of a headache.
sir, for the record,
Please.
can I have your name, please?
Absolutely. Randy Miller, and I'm the president of Ride to Cure, Inc.
Thank you.
Yep.
We just have to put that on the record.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. And I think those eateries around the square will thank you too. Generally speaking, they do. And they'll probably come back because it's some of the finest meals I've had.
Well, that's the idea. We have a lot of folks that aren't necessarily local to Martinsville that were introduced to those businesses.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we're glad to have you, and I won't tell you which place to go because they're all good.
Fair enough. We appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Well, thank you so much. Oh, did we approve that motion?
No.
All right, we probably should approve it before I thank you.
We need to get a motion, and then what are we going to do about parking? That's the only thing that, because we've not really presented with,
I'd make a motion that includes, again, that Eddie work with the city street department, or whether we do it on our own. I mean, somebody's got to have to barricade and take the barricades off.
what time do we tell them they have to move? 9 in the morning?
I would think at 9, yeah.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
Yep.
But I think we need to have some type of signage.
Posted, yeah,
Maybe have our barricades out the night before and then,
yeah. Yep. Yeah,
We'll probably have this again, so we can just.
that's what I'm thinking. This is going to become more on the parking, and then as we go into Bot 3, there'll be certain days that we might be able to have people parking there and be operating, and then there'll be other days that it'll be all construction.
Correct.
And then eventually, all construction. So, yeah, I don't have a problem with this, just the logistics of making sure that we get it closed down for you.
Well, we need a motion to approve the use of the courthouse square, and then I suppose with that motion, it should include the parking arrangements that have been mentioned in the meeting here.
Kenny Hill makes a motion that we approve the use of the Morgan County Courthouse parking area for August 3rd, with the stipulation that the Morgan County Highway Department notifies either by posting, making sure that the local people that normally park inside the square are actually notified or given notice through a sign that they should not be there Saturday morning.
Motion been made and seconded. I won't repeat that motion. I think it's pretty, you need it, you understand the motion? All right. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Motion passes 3-0. The last item on our agenda at the moment is the interlocal resolution that, Justin, do you have anything on that you would like to discuss and bring forward to us?
Yeah, so over the last few meetings, we've discussed having an interlocal agreement with Hendricks County regarding a signal project at Old 67 and County Line Road. We've since then determined back in 2017 that an interlocal agreement was signed giving over Old 267 to Mooresville. So they would be the party that Hendricks County needs to coordinate with. Upon further coordination with Hendricks County, they are going to purchase right-of-way for this new project outside the limits of what the town of Mooresville owns. So we still need to have an interlocal agreement with them to give them permission to buy right-of-way in our county. So Ann's colleague has drafted a resolution that mimics the one that Hendricks County passed, so I'm looking for approval of that resolution so we can have Hendricks County move forward with the project.
You have any questions from the board? I'll entertain a motion.
Kenny Hill makes a motion, we approve the resolution, Morgan County Commissioners of Morgan County, Indiana, approving the interlocal cooperative agreement between Morgan County, Indiana, and Hendricks County, Indiana.
All in favor? Oh, I'm sorry, second?
Second?
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Tell Hendricks County to have at it.
Yep, that's right.
Actually, the only thing Mooresville has is the pavement.
Yes,
It was
just
the
the roadway.
craziest thing I ever heard of.
yeah.
They don't have the ditching, they don't have anything, they have the pavement. They got tagged, but, in my opinion, they did.
Gotcha.
But, that's what they did. That's what they signed to keep the trucks out, which they haven't been able to accomplish either,
Yep.
unfortunately. Or
Yep.
fortunately, I don't know what to.
Gotcha.
That's the resolution.
Thank you.
Do we have any further business with the county, for the county? Oh, I'm
calendar.
sorry, I missed that. We have the 2025 holiday schedule for all Morgan County offices. You had a chance to review it. Do we have any questions or changes you'd like to make, or corrections? Then I'll entertain a motion that we pass the holiday schedule.
Kenny Hill makes a motion, we pass the holiday schedule for 2025 as presented.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Motion passes 3-0. All right. Any further business for this evening? That takes us to for the good of the county. So what's up, guys? Any good of the county?
Yeah, I jumped the gun on the EMS story. Then I got emotional, and then the attorney made fun of me.
Sounds fair.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think, and I don't want to get emotional here, but I don't think that people realize that the changes that we have been working on for decades, really, to make life better with the tax dollars that they have. And I don't care what agency you want to look at, they're all improving. But the one that is life and death is the one that Brother Worth brought to us with our EMS. And I know it's expensive, and I know we've got $3 million worth of ambulances running around here. That's just in our part of the county. There's some in the northern part, but when I'm so proud of seeing, I hear an ambulance taking off. I know somebody, I give them a little prayer for those people, but just the people that do the service that you guys work with, and it's just amazing. And it's got to be rewarding, but it's also it's so invaluable for the quality of life that we have in our county. And, thank you, sir.
I can tell you this, and I keep waiting for the day that as I'm doing CPR, trying to save somebody's loved one, that they complain to me about property taxes. It hasn't happened yet. Hey, aren't you the guy that raised my property tax? I can leave.
We have any other business for the good of the county? Well, you have a safe ride, and we'll see you in August. What counties are you folks from? Marion? 2 Marions? All 3 Marions? All right.
We're
Well,
a
you
lot
don't
more
have a,
entertaining than the government up there. It's true. Yeah, we try, we try.
And we're lucky enough to traverse several counties, so we're from Marion, we start the ride in Hendricks, and then we come to here and then go back to, and then we go to, Taylorsville, be Bartholomew, is that right?
Columbus, yeah.
Yeah, then we go back up to Marion.
We'll have a safe ride and a good cause, and probably hope to see you next year.
Your roads and streets are the best of the counties that we go in, I can promise you that.
Turn around and tell those guys on that table.
That is a fact, and that's why we keep coming back to Martinsville.
Yeah, we're very proud of those boys. We're proud of a lot of things. I don't know what I'm not proud of. They're just such a great bunch of people to be a part of this county, and we're glad you came down, and we wish you well. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion's been made to adjourn. I'll second it.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We'll tell Kenny when he gets back.
Well, we'll tell him we're still in session.